Ladies, you ready? Water.
Good evening. The Lapeer Community School Board of Education is now called to order. We will begin with a pledge of allegiance. I will turn that over to you, Mr. Landry.
Thank you, Madam President. It's my pleasure to introduce Turtle Principal, Senior Scott Warren. He'll introduce some special guests.
Thanks. I apologize. We had I don't know where my Girl Scout troop is tonight, but they were supposed to be here. But
Usually very dependable group.
yes, back up. So we have Liam and Keegan. Liam's an alumni of Turtle, currently an RW student. Keegan is one of our proud students. So these guys are going to lead the class.
Nice, thank you. Thank you so much.
And now we're going to see if we can get our first newborn to stay for the 2-hour meeting.
Well, good evening, and I want to thank you, everybody, for allowing us to be able to present tonight. We're kind of excited about what we're going to show you, and also thank Turtle staff for coming out and supporting us. Today we're going to focus on Board Goal 2, and specifically within Board Goal 2, if you the little line second to the bottom there, learner-centered instructional model. That's kind of the focus of this. And in addition to that, to support that, it's Strategy 2.1, and which is the district building professional development. So we're going to kind of incorporate those two things tonight. Talk about really what it looks like, and specifically to something we call student engagement. And it's one of the student engagement is really important in education. In fact, it's one of the things we evaluate teachers on, is the ability to engage students in the learning process. So we're going to, again, talk about that. And the other thing that what has brought us to this point is the district provided professional development this past fall. Over the years, I've been to just a ton of these things, I guess. And but I have.
You're welcome.
But I have to give Michelle and whoever was behind this credit, because this was it was an amazing professional development. Our teachers have now spent elementary teachers have 3 full days, secondary, are they at the same right? Okay. And so we've had 3 full days of this training where these teachers are learning engagement strategies to be able to use with their kids. And they're kind of primarily twofold. You know, the first one helps build is direct instruction. You know, how do you engage kids directly with the material that you're presenting? And then, you know, the other one is simply, you know, working with students to help them feel like they're part of a team, helping their and social emotional, what's the word I'm trying to use? Cooperative learning. That's it. There's a better word. It's perfect. Yeah. Cooperative learning, yes. So they're cooperative learning strategies that the teachers are learning and implementing directly into their classrooms. So tonight, I've been real proud of our Turtle staff, because they've taken this professional development and they've just pretty much really ran with it. I remember the first couple of days after we had the PD in August, the professional development in August, I was in the classroom. Teachers were already using these structures. So they've already planning it, putting it into practice. We had a Katie coach come, which was a really nice benefit. They helped the teachers, and every teacher was able to put on a couple structures and get direct feedback on how they were implementing these structures, which was really helpful. And but one of the things I was most impressed with, she was really impressed with our culture of the building and our willingness to try these things. But I was real proud that it was, what she had said is it was very organic. In other words, you can tell when you walk into a classroom and they're doing it for the first time. But our kids, they've been doing it time and time again, and so it's something that is just organic, it's coming natural. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Amber Widener, Liz Schuett, our learning coaches. And also who's going to be presenting is Jennifer Christian, Brianna Meadows, and Alyssa Dark.
Okay, so through our journey this year with Kagan Professional Development, we are creating recipes for student success and engagement. And it addresses the needs of the whole child. So we're thinking about the scope of child development, and thinking about where are they, with their mental learning, how are they socially, emotionally, physically, and academically. So it's this combination of growth that we are trying to address the needs of our students with. We want them to feel safe, supported, challenged, and engaged. And Kagan Cooperative Learning, that journey that we're on, really leads to the development of the whole child. Over the years, we've had some engagement focus with our professional development previously with essential learning practices and essential one, which is engagement. But Kagan takes us on a whole step into the future, a whole different avenue to go towards. And it really, it's like Scott said, it's not just the academic piece. There's really 3 outcomes with it. They're going to be class building structures, team building structures, and academic purposes that are addressed through these structures. But in the end, it's the development of the whole child. So what's Kagan Cooperative Learning? It's small group instruction. It's teaching that's arranged in small groups where students are having a common focus or a common goal. It promotes cooperation, communication in the classroom. It boosts students' confidence, and it helps them retain interest and have conversation in the classroom. And no matter the age, no matter the grade, no matter the content, no matter the number of kids in the classroom, you can do Kagan Cooperative Learning. There's over 200 structures with the purpose of, like I said, class building, team building, and academic purposes. Class building and team building is the foundation, the beginning steps to building a positive culture in the buildings. And that's because with feelings like trust, enthusiasm, mutual support, you're able to take risks. And that's going to be able to lead to greater gains academically in the future. So in this video, you're going to see, this is Amanda Lucas's 5th grade classroom. They're doing a team building activity, non-academic, with the purpose of building trust with peers. And the goal of this structure is they're going to count from 1 to 10 randomly. If 2 students or 3 students say the same number at the same time, the whole team has to start back at 0. And you just keep going. So you're going to see with this that students are engaged and enthusiastic to work together. So you saw students engaged. You saw them feeling success. You saw them building relationships with peers. They were accepted. They had a sense of belonging. So in order to begin this journey with building a positive culture in our buildings, they have to work together. They have to learn the skills to work together. And with those foundations built, they're going to be able to take risks academically, and they're going to problem solve with peers for the years in the future. So just thinking about Kagan, teaching itself is a mixture of carefully selected techniques. And we put together the perfect recipe book for student engagement and motivation. Cooperative learning does that. Built on our past experiences with engagement and literacy practices, and Kagan takes it to the whole next level. It's our recipe book for improving student engagement and motivation.
Yeah, so there are 7 ingredients to success within Kagan, and Amber's touched on teams, team building and class building. So we just wanted to highlight that student interaction is the main ingredient for the Kagan method. And so we use instructional strategies to promote cooperation, communication, to boost students' confidence, and to hold their interest in their academic learning so that they can be more successful with that. More than the recipe theme, we were so excited that Kagan also likes food. The 4 basic principles of Kagan and cognitive learning, you need all of these ingredients in order for it to be successful. So think about a group project that you've either seen or been a part of. One of these pieces was missing. So we have cognitive independence, so success for one is the success for all. Individual accountability, right? The group work doesn't work unless everyone holds their own and has something to display. Equal participation and simultaneous interaction. It's a big piece about communication and cooperation that they're able to work together. So when these things are all in place, one of the major takeaways for us is that they are responsible for their learning, they can pull for their teammates, they're actively engaged, and we know all of this is a recipe for accelerated academic achievement. So we are creating our little family Turtle recipe book with structures and all of our tools that we use to accelerate growth. So we're going to share with you a little snippet of some of the basic principles, each letter of the pies, and then soon you'll get to hear from our teachers about how it looks like in their classrooms specifically.
So the P, positive interdependence, like was said, success for one is the success for all. We really tried to take the P that we named at the beginning of the year and own it at Turtle. We brought it into our staff meetings. We bring it into monthly PD. It's in PLCs. We're having coaching cycles about it. We want to live it, breathe it, and we want to provide our teachers with opportunities to have success with it, to build relationships with one another, to build our culture. Because if they have that success, then we're apt to bring it into their classrooms for students. So this is an example of one of the structures that we did at professional development earlier in the year. And share some of the benefits of it.
Yeah, so the benefits are obvious when you know more about your coworkers, you're more likely to trust them, and we're building collective efficacy that way within our teachers. They're also able to implement the structure in their classroom because they were able to practice it, and they're already thinking about a way that it would fit nicely into their content coming up. So it's really created a culture at Turtle where staff know each other, trust each other, they have a sense of belonging, a sense of inclusion. So we're trying to keep that momentum because Turtle really is our building, our kids, and this is one way that we're keeping that strong. And Jen Christian will come up next to talk about her second and third graders.
So I have the I of PI, and it's individual accountability. Students will be held accountable for some of their public displays. They're being held accountable for their own contributions and learning. The benefits for the students are they interact by talking or reviewing the information that has been presented. Students remember dramatically more of what they say and do than rather being from what they hear. So processing structures, like this one up here, it's stand up, hand up, pair up. It's one of my students' favorites. I call it organized chaos. But it's a processing structure that tags information for storage and long-term memory and clear working memory to receive information. So you're gonna see a little video of stand up, hand up, pair up. I always have my students tell me what it is, because I'm like, what is that thing, guys? Like, and they're like, it's stand up and put your hands up. And they take care of it, they leave it. But the students will stand up at their seat, they'll have their paper or whatever they're gonna be sharing in their hand ready to go. So that's the individual accountability part, right? They all have to have that information ready. And when they stand up at their seat, they're gonna put their hands up, which signals that they're ready, and then they're pairing up with a partner around the room. So what you're gonna see in the video is they have been working on research papers in my classroom. And they have a research overview that they have been working on really hard, and they wanted to share it with multiple students in their classroom. And so we did the stand up, hand up, pair up to kind of end our workshop model, to give multiple students time to share with numerous other students. All right, I'm going to show that. Or just click the video. So you should have noticed in the video how they put their hands up, they found new partners when they were finished. Some were discussing and moving around the room and mixing with classmates. They would greet each other, they get to choose how they greet each other. They would sometimes high five, we talk about chicken wing. They can say, hey, how are you? They've changed as I've gotten to know them more and more and more as the year has went on. There was no arguing who was going first. They just knew they were all gonna have that opportunity to do it. We worked really hard at making sure you listen. That's the biggest part, is we were listening to each other. And then as soon as they're done, that hand is going back up because, man, they want to keep sharing with as many people before that time gets up. So students, and they love the Kagan strategies. They've been asked to do them. They prepare, bring their information to the groups and partnerships. They're excited to share. It's an amazing with the amount of growth socially and academically that I've seen in my students as the year has gone on. All the students are bringing the information and knowledge. They all feel important. They all feel worthwhile. Their voices are being heard by their peers, by me, and they're all teaching each other and their classmates. Because my students have built such trust, they are open to academics. They're open academically, and especially which can be especially challenging in a split classroom. So I teach a 2-3. My second graders come in a little intimidated at first from those third graders. They're on the opposite side of the building, they've never interacted with them before. So something like this has been invaluable for my classroom. You would never know that at first. They were like, I want to sit over here, and you're going to sit over here. As you can see, they're all just intermingling. They don't care who's who anymore. They're able to push themselves academically and try new things.
What strategy do you like the best?
I like round robin because then you have more people to share with, because if you just in a pair of share up, then you only have 2 people share at your table, you can share with a bunch of ideas. I like to in a pair of share up because you get to meet the people and learn about them. You can also get to move around the room and you don't always sit down. I like round robin the best because it gives everybody at your table a chance to share, and because it's all nice and organized. I like stand-up and up here because you get to know people that you don't know a lot about.
Okay, I'm Melissa Darby, I teach 4th grade, and I'm going to talk about the E, which is equal participation. So I have a wide variety of learners within my classroom, and I love Kagan structures because it provides the opportunity for every student to contribute. So they gain confidence, they want to participate, and they're excited to share. So that's like the most exciting thing I love about it. So just some benefits: students interact with their teammates in an enjoyable and successful way. Teammates know and accept and like each other more. And they feel a sense of team identity, mutual support, belonging, and inclusion. So I'm going to show you a video about the Kagan structured job products. And in math right now, we're learning about decomposing fractions, and this has been a struggle for a lot of my 4th graders. So I use this structure where I pose a fraction, 11/12, and my 4th graders have to break apart that 11/12, either an addition problem or a subtraction problem. So I'm going to show you the video. So the last slide was all the solutions that the students came up with, and might have motivated them a little bit with Jolly Ranchers, but it works. With the student KA structure, it helped review concepts from the previous day, so I could quickly assess which students really were struggling, so I could pull them in a small group and teach that concept. As you can see in the video, though, every student was engaged no matter what their level was, and they were excited to share. So that's what I love about Kagan.
Hi there, I'm Marina Meadows. I led to teach early fives over at Turl. I'm going to tell you about the S in fives. So the S stands for simultaneous interaction, and it's the key to maximizing positive outcomes in cooperative learning. Some of the benefits of simultaneous interaction are that the students interact with others in ways that help them acquire social skills, character values, and emotional intelligence. Students become more polite and cooperative. They're able to resolve conflicts and understand and accept points of view that might be their own. The students are more respectful and responsible and better to control their impulses. And I know that in early fives, the students are really excited to learn, and they're especially excited to get to show their learning, whether it's to me or to their classmates. But if they don't get the chance to do that, they're really, really sad about it. So with the cooperative learning structures that Kagan provides, they're able to share their learning with their classmates while also working on the social skills, which gets me is a really huge part of early education. In my video, you'll see them producing rhyming words. They start by using the stand-up, pin-up, pair-up structure actually as well, just to their partners. And then they were given direct instruction who would go first, so that's all organized, and they're also not arguing about who's going to go first. And they are practicing producing words that rhyme with the word cat, and they did it in a rally robin structure where they just went back and forth saying words that rhyme with cat. So. And I like to tell them sometimes it's okay if they make up funny words, as long as it rhymes, because that's what they were working on. So with this structure, the students were able to access their prior knowledge of rhyming words that we already learned, and they were able to practice the skill of producing rhyming words, which is an early fives goal, and they're able to do it simultaneously, as opposed to just simply raising their hand and one at a time maybe stating the answer, where the students might not all get to participate, or they might not be engaged. But as you saw in the video, most of them were engaged. You know, sometimes it doesn't go so well when there's kids who don't want to be partners, but we're working on it. They were taking turns, using eye contact, practicing those academic skills, while also practicing social skills. So I think that Kagan is really great. It's something that can be incorporated even in early fives, academically or socially. So thank you.
So to kind of wrap up the pies, the essential question that we ask ourselves is why is why is cooperative learning so critical? Many of our students and families are coming to us with not the traditional family dynamics that we think of way back in the day. They're coming to us with a lack of communication skills. They're coming to us needing some more social skills and interacting with others and ways how you talk to other people. With all the technology, family dynamics changing, and other issues that have been pressing over the last few years, we notice huge gaps in our students' social skills. So Kagan has been a great positive cooperative learning where we've seen them willing to take more risks than we have before, improve participation, higher level discussion with their classmates, increase student success using problem solving, reasoning, reflecting, connecting, communicating. They're representing their thinking, they're pushing themselves, they're able to defend their opinions and how they believe in an effective way where it's not the arguing anymore. The talk moves that we've used years ago are coming into play with Kagan too from other PDs that we've done. Cooperative learning, we feel, is the secret ingredient to student success. That's what it's for.
So we were fortunate enough to have a representative, a Kagan coach, come to our building. She spent all day with us. Amber, Scott, and I were able to follow her around. So we were not only able to showcase what we are already doing, but she gave us on-the-spot direct feedback, individualized for each teacher and their students. So just like Scott touched on earlier, she was blown away with the culture that we had created among teachers, but also with our students. So she noticed that the hard work that we put in at the beginning of the year for team building and class building, it shows because the structures that we're using now are academically focused because some of those, little mishaps that you might have with cooperative learning are no longer there. So she was blown away by what we're able to do within the structures, but the culture that we've created at Turtle with the help of Kagan. And so I touched on this already, but we have developed some next steps for our building within Kagan. She said we are hitting the ground running. Your class is cooperative. You have team building, you have class building, your teachers are working so well together. She was so impressed with how much the teachers are willing to receive feedback and then asking questions of her. It was an amazing day. So Amber's going to touch on what specific feedback Melissa gave us, but we're really excited to include cooperative learning across the day, across the content.
And so now it's like more about refining our recipes. Okay, so she said, we're in a great place. Now let's try and be really intentional with the planning that goes into why we're choosing a structure, what's the purpose of it, what's the outcome we want for our students, so that we get the biggest bang for our buck, the tastiest recipe for student learning. And the place that she wants us to go next, that we're ready for, is thinking about, within the parts of the lesson, what do we want students to be able to do? So if it is accessing prior knowledge prior to the lesson to get ready to see, what are they coming to us with in relation to this concept? If it's during direct instruction, if it's during independent practice, or during a share, she gave us a resource that these are the structures to try. You're going to get the biggest bang for your buck. If you try jot thoughts in the prior knowledge. So we can start to think about what structures are we using, why, and really get into intentional planning. Where does that fall within our lesson planning, in our content areas, and then bring in multiple structures within the lesson, really just to maximize student learning. So we want to say a really big thank you to a lot of staff here. They're the ones that make it a success. They're owning it. It's what we're doing it, and it's very visible in our building. Just like any family recipe, you've made so many times. Oh, your little recipe doesn't work anymore. You've internalized it. It's memorized. It's perfect. Our students and our teachers are going to have the opportunity to perfect our recipes over time. Imagine our early fivers, our fifth graders, think of where they're going in the future. Just imagine the 7-course meals. They'll be what they eat.
But we're not done yet, including one more thing from you. We want you to be able to experience one of our structures. I will display the directions up here. We will be doing mixed pair share. So when the music starts, which you may not recognize the music, you will all be standing up. We will mix around the room. When the music stops, you'll pair up with the person closest to you. And so please introduce yourself, say hello, and you will be sharing what is your favorite thing about your community schools. Here's your game time.
Should be at the tip of your brain.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you don't get anything done, precisely. So the tallest person will go first, after you share, thank your partner, and you can return to your seat.
I'm gonna come back here.
I'm Matt. Nice to meet you.
Okay, I guess I'm back. I know, well, you weren't moving, so I just got stuck back here. Hello, Paige. How's it going?
Yeah, that was complicated.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I was like, oh, this is going to take a while.
So in a typical structure like that, we would have done that, we would have then played the music in and then shared again. But I just really want to thank my staff for, everybody for coming and supporting us and just all the hard work they put into this. And I really thank the district for finding this, supporting the PD and something that we really can see our teeth in and hopefully eventually move the building forward, which is our goals. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
I'll point out that, like Mary said in our little exercise here, the passion that the people have here, it's unreal. So, thank you.
So I can commiserate with Scott in 22 years of education. PD is, yeah, I get it. I totally get it. But I always feel like you do PD and then it goes on the shelf. And you never take the book back off to do it again or do anything with it. And so that's my problem. And from a business perspective, which is what I teach, it doesn't seem like money well spent. I feel like this was a great money spent. And I'm so excited that we were a part of this and able to support it. Because it feels like just, I wrote down, live it, breathe it. Wow, how many times do we do that with people? We don't. And so that's just, I just appreciate that so much that you guys internalized it. But that took a great staff to do that as well. So you guys definitely have something, and we've seen Scott move around some buildings, so he seems to be, must be a good leader. Every time we did another presentation.
That's one of the reasons why you moved. Just.
So we appreciate your leadership, Scott, as well as you guys. We really do. This is just so awesome to see your enthusiasm and just to see it put into play. That's something that we spent, money on to really be a value. So thank you.
I really like the hand up, stand up, whatever it was.
The teachers don't even know what's on. Control chaos.
I kind of like it because it encourages the kids to get out of their comfort zone and to talk to other people because, believe it or not, once upon a time I was shy. And yeah, no, but I mean, when you have activities like this in the classroom that helps to get you out of that comfort zone and to walk around the classroom and I'm assuming that it's probably depending on however the age of the children are, that like a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. because I saw the kids going all over the place, sharing from different sides of the room. And I just think that it's really exciting. And thank you so much for sharing that passion with us. And it's so evident on your faces that you're passionate teachers and educators, and we're so lucky. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this was amazing. I was so excited to see how much you guys really love this PD. I mean, Michelle, this was an amazing find. I can't wait to see what else they can provide, because everyone seems to have just really embraced it, and they're loving it in their classroom, and the kids are loving it. So it's definitely a total fit for everyone. I mean, it's impressive what you guys are doing. Impressive. Our kids are super, super lucky.
I think Amber said that cooperative learning can be used right anywhere, or, any age, or someone said, I'm sorry, I'm misquoting, but, you're right, we use it in college. I mean, and we find it's a great tool, it works. And so I'm just excited to see, even though I don't know how long I wanna wait and see to continue teaching, but the idea to see these kids come up that are actually excited about cooperative learning, when at first they're like, oh, really? So,
We're gonna send one of our learning coaches over to your classroom.
Yeah.
Knowledge level.
Keep me going.
That's great. Yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Okay, we will now move into the public comment portion of our agenda. So a board meeting is a meeting of school district business held in public. It is not a public meeting. The board is not going to respond to those making public comment, but will direct the superintendent to follow up with a presenter. 30 minutes is set aside for public comment, so each presenter is being asked to keep their comments brief. The board does not comment in public on any student or employee and asks the presenters to be respectful of any person they comment about. Beth Darga.
Good evening. For anyone who doesn't know, my name is Beth Darga, and I am the Vice President for the LESP unit in our district, which consists of our paraprofessionals and our secretaries. So the LESP unit has recently started a new tradition where we recognize our members for the hard work and dedication that we have to their jobs, our students in our district. So each month a survey is sent out to our members where they can nominate a fellow LESP member who has gone above and beyond their typical job duties. This month, we recognize an LESP member that has had an overwhelming theme in her multiple nominations of how she continuously steps up to do whatever is needed, even if it means doing it on her own time. So let me introduce you to Wendy Helmer, our March LESP member who won. Wendy has been an employee of Lapeer School since 2009 and continues to go above and beyond for her students in her building, Turtle Elementary. So even though you don't know it, most of you are already familiar with some of her hard work and dedication. When you go into the Turtle building, you are greeted with her beautiful artwork on the office glass, the many posters that hang in the hallways, and the big flat Stanley who has traveled our district and even attended a board meeting. So Wendy, I want to say congratulations and thank you for all your hard work and dedication.
Thank you. Okay, we will now get into our reports. We'll start with the Finance and Operations. Ms. Novak, would you please share with us the Finance and Operations Committee report?
Yes. We met February 16th. The meeting was called to order at 2 p.m. via Zoom. The committee members, myself, Summer Putnam, and Brad Hagnon, as well as Matt Wandery, Mark Rader, Joe Wood, and Mary Moss. So we talked about ALICE training. In working with the community law enforcement, it was decided that the district would move to ALICE training in regards to our internal threat response. District Health and Safety Director Joe Wood presented the ALICE training schedule to the committee. Currently, a curriculum is being developed for the district-wide staff training to take place on March 11th and 18th. The March 11th training will consist of ASC staff, social emotional support staff, transportation staff, and lead building administrators being trained. Following that date, March 18th, will be reserved for teachers, administrators, LESP staff, food service, custodial staff, and any other building staff. Upon completion, the Peer Community Schools will achieve organizational certification as an ALICE trained district. And then we discussed, the bond planning, so Superintendent Matt Wandry and Assistant Superintendent of Business and Operations Mark Rader reviewed the upcoming bond project with the committee. A spreadsheet was shared with the group that outlined all the needs at each building and where the bond dollars would be best utilized. In addition, an overview of the bond timeline was discussed. That one, we meet with board committees, finance and ops, personnel, student advocacy and communications, and teaching, learning, and technology. Second, a special board meeting will take place on March 16th to review the final plan and get board approval. And then third, a treasury meeting will take place on March 23rd with the campaign kickoff in April if the decision is made to move forward. The bond election will take place on August 2nd, again, if a decision is made to move forward. The meeting was adjourned at 2:52 p.m.
Any questions or comments? Okay, thank you, Mrs. Novak. Next is the Personnel Committee report. I will go ahead and share that this evening. Committee members are myself, Lisa Novak, and Craig Watson. Others attending, Matt Wandry, Kim Sieberling, Mark Rader, and Mary Moss. Meeting was called to order via Zoom at 1 p.m. We first reviewed the superintendent contract. The committee reviewed and discussed the 2022-2027 superintendent contract. The assistant superintendent contracts. The committee reviewed and discussed the 2022-2024 assistant superintendent contracts for Mark Rader, Kim Sieberling, and Michelle Bradford. Kim Sieberling shared the 2022-23 staffing timeline for all the units, which included March of 22 through August of 2022. Then Kim Sieberling explained that the SEIU, Service Employees International Union unit, is the only unit that is currently bargaining. Their contracts expire June 30th of 2022. We are meeting regularly and hopeful an agreement will be reached in the near future. And then we also shared and discussed the same bond planning. And the meeting was adjourned at 1:52 p.m. Any questions or comments? Okay. Great. Mr. Hagedorn, would you please share with us the Student Advocacy and Communications Committee report?
With great pleasure. The Student Advocacy and Communications Committee met February 24th. I attended, April LeBar and Timothy E. Lipka Jr. attended. Matt Wandry was there, Kim Sieberling was there, Michelle Bradford was there, Shad Spilsky was there, and Mary Moss was there. The meeting was called to order at 1 p.m. via Zoom. We talked about the athletic code of conduct / policy revision. Shad Spilsky, along with Matt Wandry and Kim Sieberling, reviewed the current athletic code of conduct or administrative guideline with the committee. The committee discussed some language revisions to better align with current practices and provide for more consistency in application. Once finalized, they will be distributed to the full board. Ditto on the bond planning that Lisa Novak shared, and we adjourned at 1:39.
Any questions or comments? Okay, thank you, Mr. Hagedorn. Dr. Watson, would you please share with us the Teaching, Learning, and Technology Committee report?
Love to. Committee members present were April LeBar and Nicole McKenna. Absent was myself. Others attending, Matt Wandry, Michelle Bradford, Joe Wood, Sarah Wood, and Mary Moss. Meeting called to order via Zoom at 2 p.m. Committee discussed health pilot recommendations. So the District Health and Safety Director, Joe Wood, presented the health book pilot results to the committee. As per board policy and guidelines, procedure for textbook pilot adoption includes initiating a text material study, selecting resources to pilot, and textbooks and accompanying materials should be piloted in a normal classroom situation for at least one trimester before being recommended for adoption. There are 2 new health textbooks that were piloted for 9th grade this year, including Glencoe Health by McGraw-Hill and Comprehensive Health by Goodhart-Wilcox. The pilot materials have been evaluated and a recommendation is being made to replace our current 9th grade health textbook for comprehensive health curriculum. As per policy, the textbooks will be available for review for a period of 1 month. Following that, board approval will take place at the April 6th board meeting. The winter goal and benchmark testing updates. So Public Act 48, Section 104A requires districts to implement a benchmark assessment system for the 2021-22 school year. The purpose is to measure student proficiency in reading and math. In addition, Public Act 48, Section 98B requires districts to choose a benchmark assessment or assessments that are aligned to state standards and are administered to determine whether students are making meaningful progress toward mastery of these standards. Districts must present the results from the benchmark assessments administered under Section 104A to local boards. District Grant Supervisor Sarah Wood shared this data with the committee. The presentation will be made to the full board at March 2nd board meeting. The next update will take place in June of 2022, and then bond planning as read previously. And we adjourned at 2:39, or they did, I should say.
Any questions or comments? Thank you, Dr. Watson.
Thank you.
That concludes our reports for this evening. Next is our presentations. I'll hand it over to you, Superintendent Contract.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to introduce Joe Wood and Michelle Bradford to share with us the health textbook recommendation and adoption policy.
These are our textbook evaluation sheets, but he's gonna talk about all of this good stuff that we did. And you're gonna get to hear it. Nice. This is their spot.
Arrow.
Good evening. So, as stated in the minutes, a health book pilot was done. Eric Hensel and Sarah Solinsky Wood piloted two textbooks, and we're going to go through that here. So, just it's pursuant to Board Policy 2510, the adoption of textbooks, and it just says that the Board of Education shall approve all textbooks used as part of the educational program for the district. It will be approved by the board and the superintendent, and the board weighs decisions based on recommendations related to suitability, freedom from bias, relationship to the curriculum, relationship to a continuous multi-grade program, impact on community standards, manner of selection, cost, appearance, and durability. So, that being said, the identified needs for the pilot. The current textbook was published, that they're using now, was published in 2004. The Michigan Merit Curriculum Standards, updates do not align. It was updated in 2007. So, with newer standards, we need a newer, more relevant book. The information is outdated. Deterioration of current physical books. Lack of digital resources, and as we know, based on the last 2 years, digital resources are extremely important. And then, probably the most important thing, the publisher is no longer in business, so we can't get copies of it. So the purpose of the study, with your community schools' current 9th grade health curriculum resources are out of date. By studying updated curriculum and materials, we can determine if new resources provided the following: inadequate physical format, dictation and style, adaptability, alignment to content and state standards, utility, providing aid to students, authorship and readability. So content consideration, it was important for us to consider a text that aligned with the Michigan Merit Curriculum Unit design. And just some things, engaging and effective units that we were looking at based upon this curriculum. Was it appropriate? Were the content expectations appropriate? The focus in essential questions that stimulate inquiry and connections. Real world applications, as we know in health, that's an important aspect to a good health book. Is it research based? Is there substantial time to review or apply new knowledge? Opportunities for revision and work based on feedback and student evaluation of the unit, which I know that they did as well when we talked about. We met 2 or 3 times on the different books, And they talked about the student perception of the book, so I know that was done. And then the national standards, does it comply with the national, these are called SHAPE standards. And they're all listed up here, but comprehending concepts, analyzing influences, accessing resources, interpersonal communication, decision-making, goal setting, practice health-enhancing behaviors, and advocacy. So the pilot resources, there's 2 books selected, as you were made aware. The Glencoe Health book, it was published by McGraw-Hill, and it was used from August until November. And then the Comprehensive Health book, published by Goodhart Wilcox, was used from November until March. So, comparing the two and meeting with Eric and Sarah, we went through a long list, Form 2, 2510 Form 2, that you should have there. And they went through and they rated both textbooks, and they gave us pros and cons on why they think one was better than the other. So we would, text number 1, Glencoe Health, the pros. There's some up-to-date material, many resources, there's a lot of resources for students to use, and it integrates basic math skills when we're talking about cross-curricular. There is a long list of cons, however. The lack of rigor. Student work is far too easy for high school students. Repetitive resources, and some of them were outdated. It does not integrate with Google Classroom, which we use for our students. Online resources, while many, are hard to navigate. Difficult to adapt lessons to students with different needs. Student perception of material is low. They felt it was too easy. And those were comments directly from our students that the text was too easy. And there was no launch or anticipatory materials to introduce lessons. In comparison to the comprehensive health text, you can see their list is much different. The materials up to date, the materials support diversity, content and assignments are rigorous and up to date. In regards to readability, it's high school level and it engages our students. There's a differentiated component included in the lesson plan for students with different needs. Cross-curricular, there's a math component, critical thinking, and there's even standardized test prep. Open-ended moral questions or health check in the teacher section to introduce upcoming lessons, so they have that anticipatory set. It addresses multiple standards in a lesson or unit. The text provides research and case studies to support information in the book. And the digital learning resources are plenty and easy to access, and they easily integrate with Google Classroom. The cons, the book was very vocab heavy. So rating the text. In that Form 2, each text is rated on a scale from 1 to 5. 1 being unsatisfactory, 3 average, 5 outstanding. And the book is rated on those categories that I mentioned in the beginning: physical format, diction and style, adaptability, content, utility, and authorship. The process of rating allows for teachers to properly rate the pilot text and make a recommendation to the board for the appropriate text for our students. So we went through and they graded the text. So when it came to physical format, Glencoe Health scored a 27, to Comprehensive Health was a 49. Dictation and style, Glencoe Health was a 6, Comprehensive Health was a 15. Adaptability, 13, to Comprehensive Health, 26. Content was a 19 for Glencoe Health, and this was really important for us. The content in the Comprehensive Health book was a 52. Utility, providing aids to students, 40 for the Glencoe Health, and 80 for the Comprehensive Health. Authorship was a 6 for Glencoe Health and a 9 for Comprehensive Health. Total scores, they weren't very close. The total for Glencoe Health was 111. For Comprehensive Health, it was 231. So the quotes, all books were quoted for the following: 100 textbook bundles, that's a set of 50 at Zimmer and LHS, and the bundle comes with digital access, and 220 additional licenses for digital learning access, and then access to digital teacher resources. The Glencoe book was $108.45 for the book, or the bundle, excuse me. And then the digital learning was $93.93. The teacher access was free. The total 6-year quote was $32,089.61. And the comprehensive health book was $191 for the bundle. The digital learning was $148. They gave a 25% discount. The teacher access was free. So with the discount, the total 6-year quote, including shipping and handling, was $38,745. So a recommendation, based on the experience that students and teachers have had with both texts, it's encouraged that the LCS school board approve the recommendation for the comprehensive health curriculum. We feel that the teacher and student feedback, data, and ratings from our health teachers speak volumes in regards to rigor, appropriateness, and overall quality of the text. We have Eric Hensel here as well. He was one of the teachers who piloted the book. So if you have any questions, please.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so I see that it was Mr. Hensel and Mr. and Mrs. Slomo. That's what my son calls her. And we're in charge of it, and that you had students. Now, is it students that are currently in the health classes right now that had the opportunity to look at it? Because I'm really curious what students said, this is too easy. I'm just curious. Like, a lot of them. They were, and they just, I saw the comment that it looked like an elementary school kid.
Yeah.
I mean, it
was tough, the first one, yeah.
Wow, that's great that they are seeking material that's actually relevant to them. And I saw some of the differences between the books and how up to date the second choice was, and where it went into vaping and things that are more current now that are plaguing our kids.
Sure, and that the book that we used for the comprehensive health was just published, so it is up to date.
There's a new 2023 too that we can, I believe, it's the same price and everything.
Yeah.
I'm kind of confused about the pricing a little bit because I deal with publishers, and so I'm just concerned, why is it a new publisher, and why would they be more competitive with their pricing? I mean, $148 for an online license, that's pretty steep.
It is. So it was $148, but they gave us 25% off of that.
So it's higher than that, we negotiated.
I negotiated more. It's pretty expensive. How long
You're
did they
giving us
last?
all the teacher resources for free.
Yeah, we did those anyways, so. Well, that's pretty much automatic. But what, why, like I said, how long is the online license good for?
6 years.
So you can reuse them.
Yeah, and they're constantly updating.
Okay, so that makes a little bit more sense. This is pretty bad. You don't usually see that kind of spread between publishers like that, so I'm curious. They must be,
Sure.
Are they new?
No, McGraw-Hill is more common, so I think they, can give you a better price, but this one isn't as common as McGraw-Hill.
So what are the students using for the remainder of the year?
We're gonna use, comprehensive health, the one that we're recommending, because we have it till the end of the year.
Oh, okay, that's what I wanted to make sure. Any other questions?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will head into our action items. The first is our consent grouping, approval of minutes of February 9, 2022. Schedule special meeting March 16th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Second reading and adoption of board policy 8460 COVID workplace plan. Any consent grouping item anyone wishes to be removed? Okay, hearing none.
I'll move that the reading of the minutes and policies be waived and the consent agenda items be approved as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a support. Mr. Hagedorn?
Aye.
Dr. Watson?
Aye.
Mr. Lipka?
Aye.
Mrs. LeVar?
Aye.
Mrs. Novak? Mrs. Putnam says aye. Motion carries. Okay, next is heading into closed session.
I'll make a motion that the board will be closed session to discuss superintendent evaluation.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Mr. Hagedorn?
Aye.
Dr. Watson?
Aye.
Mr. Lipka?
Aye.
Mrs. LeVar?
Aye.
Mrs. Novak? Mrs. Putnam says aye. Motion carries. We will now head into closed session. Okay, we are back in open session. It is continue with our action items. Next up is Assistant Superintendent Contract for our grader.
I move that the Assistant Superintendent Contract for our grader be approved as presented.
Okay, I have a motion and a support. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Hagedorn?
Aye.
Dr. Watson?
Aye.
Mr. Lipka?
Aye.
Mrs. LeVar?
Aye.
Mrs. Novak? Mrs. Putnam says aye. Motion carries. Okay, next is Assistant Superintendent Contract, Kim Seekerly.
I make a motion that the assistant superintendent contract for Kim Seekerly be approved as presented.
A second.
Okay, I have a motion and a support. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mr. Hagedorn?
No.
Dr. Watson?
Aye.
Mr. Lipka?
Aye.
Mrs. LeVar?
Aye.
Mrs. Novak?
No.
Mrs. Putnam says aye. Motion carries. Okay. Assistant Superintendent Contract for Michelle Bradford.
I move that the Assistant Superintendent Contract for Michelle Bradford be approved as presented.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion and a support. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mr. Hagedorn?
No.
Dr. Watson?
Aye.
Mr. Lipka?
Aye.
Mrs. LeVar?
Aye.
Mrs. Novak?
No.
Mrs. Putnam says aye. Motion carries. Okay, that brings us to the Superintendent Evaluation. So I will go ahead and read the Superintendent Summative Evaluation Summary. The consensus score identified for each performance indicator in the area of professional practice and the calculated domain scores are as follows. Governance and board relations, the rating is a 4. Community relations, the rating is a 3.83. Staff relations is a rating of 3.71. Business and finance is a rating of 4. Instructional leadership is a rating of 3.8. Overall professional practice is a rating of 3.87. The score identified for the area of student growth is a rating of 3.0. The consensus score identified for the area of progress towards district goals is a rating of 4. The overall summative rating earned by Superintendent Wandry for the 2021-2022 school year is a rating of 3, which is a label of effective. Okay? So with that,
I move that the board adopt the final resolution of the superintendent's year-end evaluation.
Support.
okay, I have a motion and a support. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Hagedorn?
Aye.
Dr. Watson?
Aye.
Mr. Lipka?
Aye.
Mrs. LeVar?
Aye.
Mrs. Novak?
Aye.
Mrs. Putnam says aye. Motion carries. Okay, and finally, the last item on our actions is the approval of superintendent contract.
Go ahead, Tim.
I'll make a motion superintendent contract for Matt Laundry be approved as presented.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion and a support. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Mr. Hagedorn?
Aye.
Dr. Watson?
Aye.
Mr. Lipka?
Aye.
Mrs. LeVar?
Aye.
Mrs. Novak?
Aye.
Mrs. Putnam says aye. Motion passes. Okay, that concludes our action items. Let's move into board communications for this evening. Anyone have any topics or communications to share?
I'll just say thank you to our presenters today. They did a great job. I always enjoy seeing the passion that they have when they're talking.
I want to send a wonderful shout out to the theater group for the Addams Family production. It was fantastic. It was such a joy. It was like a project. It just made me feel like I was somewhere else, not in Lapeer. Like I was at a Broadway show. I mean, every part of it was just fantastic, and I wanted more. I did not want to get out of my chair other than to give a standing ovation. I wanted more. It was fantastic. I'm so glad that we have the caliber of teaching and the opportunities for these students. And I love how it's open to students grades 6 and up. It's not just the high school kids. It's everybody can be a part of it. And I love that it was so engaging. The community loved it. And I'm so proud that I was able to attend.
I heard a lot about it.
It was amazing. Those kids, you can tell they worked so hard. They did not miss a beat. At least you couldn't tell if they did. I heard that there was one girl who like the day after the play had PTSD because she had theater PTSD because she was so used to being with these students and these kids for the last 3 to 4 months, and she did not want to just go home after school.
That's a documentable condition.
I mean, she just was sad and crying because it was over. And I heard about that student, and I just thought that they just did big, huge props to Mrs. Better and her team.
I just want to say thanks again to Turtle. That was a great presentation. It was nice to see money well spent for an initiative. Thanks to LASP for their presentation. That was a welcome thing to look forward to. And thanks for the work on the help. I know that's a lot from the kids. Textbooks are always fun.
I was going to say congratulations to Winnie Elder. That's awesome. I like this award that you guys are doing. It's kind of neat to start up something to keep it moving. That's fantastic. And thanks Scott Warren, and thank God for his cooperative learning that he was able to get the words out of them to finish his presentation. Yeah, a team. So that's it.
I have to say, I really enjoyed the recognitions that you guys are doing. That is truly amazing, and I look forward to that. So I hope you guys continue to do it. They are well deserved. I want to say thank you to Schickler. They asked me to be a spelling bee judge. I want to tell you that is so hard. I didn't want to hurt the little kids' feelings by telling them they didn't get the word right, but I did. I was wrong. And oddly,
Can you give us an example of the eligibility jelly?
I just nodded my head. There was this one cute gentleman that he was so nervous, and he was kind of like SALAD. And I'm like, is it a question mark for me?
Someone's down there going.
I wanted to. Wait until he got it that it was done, and then I was like, oof.
Well, she's not going to be a judge again.
Yes. It was a delight. It was the first time, and I am glad I did it. But oddly, my coworker's niece won that day. It was weird circle that happened, but and then I want to just thank Turtle. I can really see that they're building leaders for our district. I mean, that is phenomenal. So I'm super excited to see more of this coming. Like next year, how our students have grown from this year's Keegan PD. I mean, I hope you have something spectacular for next year.
We do.
Because they're loving it, they're embracing it. Everyone is, so that's exciting. So I want to thank you for the hard work for that, because I'm sure it's difficult to find PD. I mean, I know in my employment, training is definitely a hard task. So thank you for that hard work. With that, I'll turn it over to you, Superintendent Evaluation.
Thank you, Madam President.
I have one comment. Just
Timothy Paul.
The robotics teams are competition this weekend, so wish them luck. If you guys go out there, you can find them. You can go over, it's over at Kettering this weekend, so I want to wish them good luck.
I have one last thing, sorry. In recognition of March's Reading Month, I want to thank Schickler for giving us this book because Magic Tree House books are near and dear to my heart. And also, I am excited to say that I am going to Kids and Company to read to 2 different classrooms, and tomorrow I'm going to Murphy to read to 2 different classrooms as well. And if anybody has an opportunity, I think it'd be great. It's not just a photo op, it's engaging with the students and seeing their eyes light up when you're enthusiastic with words. And I'm taking Shel Silverstein's The Sidewalk, Where the Sidewalk Ends, and I'm excited about Tickle Me, Tickle Me, Tickle Me Too. So that's one of my absolute favorites, and I just want to thank our district for encouraging March's Reading Month and promoting it across the district for the elementary students, because I know Murphy does the one school, one book, or one book, one school, and I think all of the other elementaries are as well, and I just think that it's wonderful, and I just love to read.
It's great, you're right, we've never done that to read with a group of kids, it's awesome.
I will turn it over to
Thank you, thank you, that's okay, no, it's great. Real quickly, just.
It's all
Did anybody else miss Craig? Jen Tyndall's not with us this evening. She's down in Florida with her dad who had to have surgery. We got great news in a text message the last couple hours. She's out doing well, but just thoughts and prayers with Jen and her family. It's always tough. Did anybody get a chance to get a score from the girls' basketball game tonight? Do you know anything yet?
I haven't even looked at my phone.
Well, we'll look up. Good luck to them. That's Mrs. McKenna's absent this evening. Her daughter's playing in that, so congrats to our girls' basketball team who won the first round district game against Kearsley and moved to fight another day tonight. So I know she'd rather be at the board meeting. I say that. Alice training coming up on March 11th or 18th. You are invited to either one of those. Just please let Jared or Joe Wood know which day you want to attend, so we can get an idea of who's where. When we did the hand up, pair up activity tonight, I said my favorite thing about the peer schools were the fact that we start every one of our board meetings with a school building presentation on district goals, because it centers this board into the work that's most important that we do. And like you, I really enjoy hearing from the teachers, watching what the kids are doing. It makes what you guys do come to life, and that's my favorite part of what we do here. I want to say thank you for the approval of my contract. I just some quick math in my head. I spent half my career in here as superintendent. It's been a highlight of my career. But my success is our success, and the team that I have to work with, I'm so proud of all the work that they do and continuing to find new and innovative ways to deal with the challenges that we're facing are like none we've ever seen in this business. And I couldn't do it without a great team, great staff, which we get to see on display every meeting, and all the support staff and folks that help those teachers get to where they're at and be able to come here and our principals present to you. It's really a great district, and I'm just so proud to be a part of it. So thank you for trusting me to do that. With my evaluation, our discussion today about areas that we want to work on and grow on, and approval of our contract. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I yield back to Dallas my time.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Mr. Hager.
Aye.
Dr. Watson.
Aye.
Mr. Lippincott.
Aye.
Mrs. LeBar.
Aye.
Mrs. Novak. Mrs. Putnam says aye. Meeting adjourned.
It's adjourned, and here's the report. They played amazing. It was super